When I started this YouTube channel, it was for movies like this.
Oh, boy, you two are crazy.
Double Dragon was a 1987 arcade-style beat-em-up. Now, I was always more of a Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter kid myself, so I was never really offended by this horrible adaptation. In fact, quite the contrary. Even at a young age, I understood that this movie was a masterpiece. I'm so excited, let's dive right in.
Thousands of years ago, in ancient China, an evil army of shadow warriors terrorized the great city of Changsha.
What the hell is this? Did I put in the wrong movie?
This is the legend of the Double Dragon.
Wasn't the plot of the game girl gets kidnapped, beat up bad guys? So why is that so fucking hard to translate? So the movie opens somewhere in China. I don't know, figure it out, dick. It's right there. You happy? And we see a raid on a village. Big fucking deal. Who hasn't pillaged a small village before? But I didn't have high-tech equipment like this. Now this blonde bitch right here, who probably slept with the director, is head henchman of Robert Patrick, in his finest role since the T-1000.
Lewis, any news?
Also, the movie takes place in the futuristic year of 2007. Do you guys remember just 10 years ago, the world was in the midst of a nuclear holocaust? Gangs ruled over Los Angeles and Robert Patrick tried to take over the world?
Find me the other half now.
And then we're introduced to our two asswipe main characters, Billy and Jimmy. Or is it Jimmy and Billy? It doesn't matter. This movie is so nuanced and enlightened that you don't need to know characters' names or their relationships to fully comprehend the emotions of this movie.
What?
It's Sunday. You're watching the Raiders Gladiators game on TV, and suddenly the house collapses.
How embarrassing, but it's not your fault.
It's everybody's fault. That's why you gotta go to Jack City.
Where you can choose from hundreds of decorator colors.
So remember, if you didn't buy from us, you don't know Jack
City.
For One Nightly News with George Hamilton and Vanna White.
Is that George Hamilton and Vanna White? Can this get any worse?
Oh, boy, you two are crazy.
I got nothing. It's also worth mentioning that our main characters are played by Scott Wolf and Mark Dacascos, who no one remembers from the Crow TV show. But as I mentioned before, this movie takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where the cops only come out during the day and the gangs rule over the night.
These are the armies of the night.
Again, wasn't the plot of the game this? So why does it have to take place in Mad Max? So they run into a Bobo who's one of the bad guys from the game or whatever, which leads to a wacky car chase. Also, apparently the car runs on garbage. That sounds like a stupid rejected idea from the fucking Mario Brothers movie. In fact, this looks like that stupid Mario Brothers movie. But the duo gets saved by Alyssa Milano, who after talking shit to them immediately asks for their help.
PowerCore could use you guys.
I'm sorry, I can't take you serious. Could you please dress in something that wasn't puked up by the 90s? So since a Bobo failed, Robert Patrick decides to experiment on him. Oh, come on, how am I supposed to not make another Mario Brothers movie joke? I'd scream like that too if I thought I was gonna get turned into a fucking Goomba. But finally Robert Patrick shows up and is like, hey, I'm Robert Patrick.
I've taken a new name, that of the great ancient Japanese warlord. I am Kogashuko.
So he's a white guy with a Japanese name after a Chinese medallion MacGuffin. What?
What's going on?
What's going on?
So they get into what I'm guessing is this movie's failed attempt at an action scene.
What a head case.
That was the most forced one-liner I've ever seen in my life. Did he just jump through the same painting twice? Actually, that's not even a bad thing. That's kind of awesome. So a Bobo shows back up, but eventually this bitch blows up. Oh no! You know what? All jokes aside, I bet they're pretty upset about losing their mom, sister, aunt? You know what? It just occurred to me, I don't know who the fuck she is. Robert Patrick then decides to unite all the gangs in the city.
These are the armies.
No, we do get a nice little cameo by Michael Berryman. And then we get an action scene that's over the top bullshit and drags out way too long. If there is a God, please let them be dead. You have forsaken me this time, spaceman! Does that news station really say Channel 69?
69, dudes!
But eventually Bimmy and Jimmy decide to team up with Alyssa Milano in order to sneak into Robert Patrick's evil lair so they can steal his half of the medallion.
Now get out of here. You disgust me.
Now, leave!
Except for you. Flash, you stay.
Once I give my power to the girl, I'll be temporarily weakened. You'll be my only defense.
But they fuck up and Mark Dacascos gets captured.
No.
But they head back to Alyssa Milano's hideout in order to prepare for the climax of the movie. So everyone starts fighting and a few people get knocked into this green chemical, which is kind of horrific if you think about it, because no doubt they came out looking like this.
Don't touch me, man!
Oh, and an evil possessed Mark Dacascos shows up in order to smash a Double Dragon arcade game, which is no doubt a metaphor for the movie. But eventually Robert Patrick does in fact get both halves of the medallion. And what does he do? Does he use his power to become an invincible immortal? Or a reality warping deity? Nope, he turns into two of the worst things you've ever fucking seen.
Let's have some fun.
But after a laughably choreographed fight, our two asswipe main heroes finally touch tips.
Destiny has brought together the Double Dragons. Guard them, as I guarded you.
This is so fucking stupid. Robert Patrick's all like, yeah, I need to fire my fucking agent. Side note, this used to irritate me as a kid. I mean, they get their costumes at the last fucking minute. Are you shitting me? They're only in them long enough to beat up Robert Patrick. Yeah, that's a fucking fair fight. So Robert Patrick goes to jail.
You think I'm bad? Where do you meet my lawyers?
And I'm hoping everybody else died in a car wreck. Where the fuck do I start? Everything in this movie is mind-boggling. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic future. There's a magical medallion. Robert Patrick is the villain. But it's a pretty good blend of weird that you really can't help but enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, this movie's awful. Worse than awful. But it's one of my personal favorite good-bad movies, a la Troll 2 in the Room. So please take that into account when I give it a 4 out of 5, because you really can't hate something so baffling. Back to me? No. I've got nothing. Just cut it. Just cut it.
We see, don't we, all that we experience is understandable as a spectrum of vibrations. There are different kinds of spectrums. There's the spectrum of light, there's the spectrum of sound. We can also think of spectra of smells, of tactile feelings, of emotions, and so on all down the line. We are, as it were, living in